I watched every single anime from the fall 2023 season, and here are some of the best ones worth watching. Last season was quite disappointing, but it still had a few anime that I really enjoyed. However, this season is filled with so many good anime. We have an amazing fantasy series, Initial D is back, a unique spin on romance, detective series, isekais, superpower parodies. It feels like nothing could go wrong this season.
Rock and roll! Freeze! Hands up!
Well, almost nothing. Yeah, baby! MF Ghost aka the motherfucking Ghost is finally here. It's probably my most anticipated anime of this year. It's the year 2020 when racing finally became legal under a racing circuit known as MFG. And the successor of Takumi Fujiwara, Kanata Katagiri, comes to Japan to race in MFG with a Toyota 86 while looking for his father. The first episode was quite disappointing overall. We get to meet our new character, who is just as apathetic as Takumi, there's a hint of romance in the storyline, and it showcases the cars we will see in these races. However, the second episode was perfect. It's all about racing, and hearing Eurobeat again was amazing. Even if you haven't seen Initial D, you can watch MF Ghost. You won't get those "oh my goodness, is that really him?" moments, but it's still really fun to watch. However, it's not the only racing anime this season. We also have Overtake, which instead of street racing, focuses on F4, and the visuals look amazing. The anime is insanely pretty. It's really similar to MF Ghost, where we have a really skilled driver who doesn't have a good enough car. The races seem fun, and the characters fit well together. I just hope that we will have two really good racing anime this season. Wait a minute, why exactly does she want her hard drive destroyed? 16-Bit Sensation is a really interesting anime about an illustrator who loves Bishoujo games and aspires to become a super famous illustrator. However, in this day and age, not many people play Bishoujo games anymore. In the present, everything revolves around mobile games and she hates that. Which is quite ironic considering her voice actor also voiced Paimon and she uses the exact same voice in the anime. I can't take it anymore. The coolest part of the anime though was all the posters featuring existing anime and visual novels. Let's have sex! Our dating story was one of the most hyped up anime of this season and I don't like it. I really enjoy watching romance. I watched even the worst of the worst, but this one is just too much for me. Trust me, I watched some that I wish I never did. The characters are just straight up annoying. We have our classic romance protagonist who is terrible at communicating and our girl who is a lot more extroverted and agrees to go out with him. There's nothing wrong with the idea itself, but the way it was executed was something else. The last few minutes at least seemed decent and it could turn out to be a really good anime, but I just can't stand these characters anymore. However, one anime that really surprised me was I'm in love with the Villainess. I hadn't really watched this kind of anime before because they all seemed really similar, and this one also has all the expected Villainess elements, like the heavy laugh, or her bullying the protagonist. However, what makes it different is that instead of the main character crying about it, she's like, "Yes mommy, please bully me, hit me harder." I don't know why, but there is just something really funny about it when characters don't act the way they should. It's actually a great idea, but I wonder what they can do to keep it interesting, as it might become repetitive after a few more episodes. However, if you don't want a villainous love story, how about an alien Yuri with a main character that is somehow more awkward than Bocchi? What if you were the Demon Lord, feared by everyone, considered the worst of the worst, and one day you found an unconscious girl in your forest who's apparently a criminal? Would you A. hand her over to the authorities, B. ensure she's okay and let her escape, or C. let her live in your mansion and teach her a lot of naughty stuff? This anime is a cute one. I'm giving the Disgraced noble lady I rescued the crash course in Naughtiness as a longer title than its premise. It's essentially about Charlotte, a girl who was supposed to marry the prince but got arrested even though she hadn't done anything. She ran away and the Demon King Alan found her. He decided to give her shelter and teach her how to live life without rules, like eating desserts for dinner. It's really cute, the characters have an interesting dynamic, and it's going to be the cozy show of this season. We all feel lonely sometimes, wishing that there could be someone with us whom we truly love, who truly cares about us. Rentaro was in the same situation. No matter how many girls he confessed to, they all refused him, even if they liked him. As a last resort, he went to a shrine to pray to God, hoping that something will change. And oh boy, everything changed. Because he didn't just meet one, but 100 soulmates. Why? Because God was watching a TV show while writing his papers, and he messed up the number. You know, it's obvious as that. Everyone makes mistakes. When I saw the trailer, I genuinely thought this is going to be another domestic girlfriend, rent a girlfriend type of anime. But I was so wrong. The 100 girlfriends who really love you is so over the top that it's actually good. We have a love of God who fucked up everything so badly that our main character is now forced to date all 100 of the girls or they will die. The idea itself isn't anything crazy, but the execution is crazy good. It's like watching 24 TikToks in a row. Things happen really fast. The girls are incredibly stereotypical. The tsundere acts as tsundere as possible. It's really chaotic, and these are only the first 2 girls. There are 98 more to go. Oh man, this was so good. I really wonder what other good romance we have this season. There is no a girl and her guard dog in Ba Sing Se. Frieren was the most anticipated anime of this year, and it did not disappoint. It introduces us to a fairly standard fantasy world with elves, dwarves, dragons, and the Demon King. Everything you would expect. However, the story takes a unique direction. It begins after they have already defeated the Demon King, and our main character, Frieren, decides to continue her journey alone while the others settle down in the city. She's an elf, and for her, the passage of time is different. What felt like a mere 10 years for her was a significant part of the others' lives. Without much thought, she only returns 50 years later, just before they all pass away one by one. Frieren is a really apathetic character, and we don't see many emotions from her. However, she completely breaks down after Himmel's death, realizing that a significant part of his life was spent with her, yet she knows very little about anyone. The anime essentially focuses on her reliving these memories, to understand human emotions better. It's a slow-paced anime that takes its time and it mainly concentrates on character dynamics, rather than the high-paced, action-filled adventures we are used to. Most people might find it a bit slow, but I really enjoyed it. As I mentioned, the world it portrays is straightforward, yet it showcases it in a unique and visually pleasing way. If there is one anime you should watch this season, it has to be Frieren. Imagine a world where witches helped out humanity by giving them the power of magic, and humans thank them by killing all of them. The last witch alive, Chloe, gets her brain blown out in front of a little boy who vows revenge. Yes, this is an edgy revenge anime, and when I say it's edgy, it's the edgiest edge of edge. We now have an adult Adonis and Doroka who are ready to wipe out any and all deplorable human beings. It's a cross-country murder spree romantic vacation. That's the whole anime. I hope I saved you 4 hours with that. While we also have a lot of new anime, there's also a bunch of sequels. We have the second season of Spy Family. It was one of the most liked anime of last year, but I think it got quite boring by the end of the second core. However, after this 1-year break, it got back its old charm, and the first episode was really fun to watch. We also have the second season of Goblin Slayer, Dr. Stone continues with the second part of New World, Sid is back with his bullshit, Tokyo Revengers is also here with its possibly best arc, more anime with girlfriend in its name, like we don't have enough already, the Rising of the Shield Hero with its third season, which I'm not going to watch after how the second season was. Wait. Who is that? You know exactly what joke I'm going to make. Something is rising, and it's not the Shield Hero. Undead Unluck has to be one of the weirdest yet most fun anime of this season. We have one of our main character, Fuko, who is known for being extremely unlucky when someone touches her. And our other main character, Andy, who can't die no matter what, making them the Undead Unluck duo. The anime carries a somewhat somber tone as Fuko accidentally killed her own parents and she wanted to end her own life. Andy feels the same way, doesn't want to be undead anymore. It introduces us to many sad themes, yet it doesn't really affect you. It does a great job by turning it into an actual comedy and making it clear that you don't have to take it too seriously. Now let's see what's left on the list. Fantasy, fantasy, fantasy! Ooh! Another fantasy! Okay, let's just go through all of them at once. Ragna Crimson has one of the most interesting premises. We start with a weak character who couldn't protect anyone. Everyone around him dies, regardless of his efforts. He dedicates his entire life to training until he becomes unbeatable and the strongest being. Unfortunately, by the time he achieves this power, there is no one left to defend. So, he goes back in time and grants his current abilities to his past self, who successfully defends his friends and defeats all his opponents. However, this action creates a new problem because now his body struggles to control such overwhelming strength. It was quite enjoyable up to that point. However, one thing that left me puzzled was the reason behind the initial dragon attacks.
そのケーキ屋を大変ごひいきになさっていた。しかし、先日その店が強盗に遭い潰れた。We also have our seasonal Demon King that reincarnated as a kid. Also a classic leveling up power fantasy where Ash is constantly bullied by Team Rocket. And we also have Shangri-La Frontier, which is the best fantasy anime by far this season. It's about a gamer who usually plays shitty VR games, but there is no game too bad for him to try. When he's introduced to a really good VR game, he becomes instantly addicted to it. What makes it so enjoyable to watch is that it's a soul-like game, and he plays it like most of us would. This adds so much to the enjoyment. He does things like skipping the first village, going straight to the boss, skipping dialogues, and doing a lot of farming, things we all do in games, which gives the anime a really cozy feeling. It's a bonus that it looks incredibly good. Throughout the years, we had a bunch of detective anime where you get a pair of opposites. Ron Kamonohashi's Forbidden Deductions starts out the same way. We have one character that isn't good at solving mysteries, but is a good support element, and another who is good at solving them, but can't work alone. However, in this case it's because he tells all the criminals to kill themselves. Imagine being a serial killer, and when they finally catch you, instead of arresting you, they are just like, "You suck at this, kill yourself." Wait, is there a new My Hero Academia this season? Shy is the first superhero type anime in quite a while. It's essentially My Hero Academia with cute girls and a drunk Russian lady. The concept is quite similar, with these heroes becoming symbols of peace. Each country having its own hero, and in Japan, it's Shy, who as the name suggests, is really shy. The first episode primarily focused on explaining her character, and she went through significant character development. It was centered around defending civilians and showcased her abilities, but it seems like the story will progress in a direction where these heroes have to work together to face a common enemy. It looked promising. Shy can be a bit annoying, but I have high hopes for this anime. We all had that time in our life where we didn't want to do anything ever again. Terakomari is in a similar situation, where she lives as a shut-in vampire. However, one day she gets appointed as a commander in the army, an army that wants to kill her. While it has an overall serious idea, the anime is mainly comedy, and most of these scenes happen between her and her new mate, which makes up for some really silly and funny scenes. I usually don't like when most of the comedy revolves around just two characters, but this is a lot of fun to watch. They are really well written, and that makes it really interesting. That were all the anime I think was worth watching. If you want to see what good anime we had last season, click on this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Have a great day. Goodbye.